If I got a green card based on marriage and then got divorced, can I sponsor somebody new for a green card? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. So today we're talking about that scenario where a foreign national marries a U.S. citizen or maybe a green card holder and obtains a marriage-based green card and then ends up getting divorced from the person that petitioned for them. They now find themselves without a soulmate, without a lover, without a partner, and they want to marry someone from overseas and sponsor them for a green card. So there are some very specific rules that we need to go over when it comes to that. Just know that in our office we call these pivot cases, and that's because you're pivoting from being the beneficiary of a green card and you're pivoting, which means to turn to the other side and trying to give a green card to somebody else. So you got the green card based on marriage, and now you're marrying somebody else and want to get them an immigrant visa or a green card based on marriage to you. So you can see how USCIS might be a little bit suspicious. Here you said that you loved person A, that you were going to be with them forever, so they gave you a green card based on that relationship. Now you say that marriage fell apart and you want to turn around and sponsor somebody else. So here's the rule. The rule is that USCIS cannot approve an I-485 for wife or husband number 2 unless 5 years have passed since you got your original green card. So unless you've become a U.S. citizen, which technically could be possible, and actually we've seen, if you remain a green card holder, USCIS cannot and will not approve your green card application or immigrant visa application for the new spouse unless 5 years have gone by from the date you got your green card. It's not 5 years from the date of your marriage, it's 5 years from the date you got your green card. Now, USCIS and the Department of Homeland Security were saying for a while that not only did you have to wait the full 5 years, but that if the marriage took place in the first 5 years, that you couldn't get it approved. Now, if you find yourself in this scenario, here's how it plays out. So if you are the person who pivoted, who received the green card and is now trying to get a green card for somebody else, you are presumed to have entered into that first marriage through a fraudulent means. That you, in other words, you married person A to get that green card, and unless you can prove by clear and convincing evidence that that original marriage was legitimate and for love and not for an immigration purpose, by clear and convincing evidence, which is a higher standard than normal, then you're not going to be able to bring your spouse here to the United States. How does this play out in the real world? Well, the way it plays out in the real world is USCIS doesn't know exactly how to handle these cases. Like I said, for a long time they were misapplying the law until a court struck down their approach and made it clear that it's the 5 years from the date that you got your green card that is important, and that they can't give you the green card until 5 years have passed, not that the other way around, the way that they had been interpreting it formally. So if you find yourself in a situation like this, you probably want to do one of a couple things. One is you might want to wait to apply for wife or husband number 2 until you get your citizenship. If you're a citizen, all that's cleared up. But more so, if you have filed one of these cases, and I was just talking to someone today who had filed one of these, and USCIS is sitting on it, it's probably because they're confused as to what standard to apply. They're confused as to whether or not they can approve it, and you might need a lawsuit or a brief to explain to them why this case is approvable. In other words, the regulations are not consistent with the way USCIS has been handling the cases, and so when that happens, they just sort of throw up their hands and say, we don't really know what to do, and nothing happens on the case. So this poor guy has been waiting 3 years for USCIS to approve his green card, and I think he's going to hire us to file a lawsuit. But that's what you need to understand if you're trying to pivot from receiving a green card based on marriage and then giving that benefit to somebody else. This is especially problematic if you always knew person B. You know, whenever you have a second marriage and it's from the home country, then USCIS is always thinking, boy, I wonder if they were in a secret relationship the whole time that the pivoter was married to spouse A. That's really what you're going to have to overcome. That's really where the headaches come in. That's really where USCIS sort of confuses things up. So I hope this makes sense. I've made it simple, but basically, unless you have waited 5 years from the start date of your green card, you're not going to be able to get that benefit for somebody else that you love until those 5 years have passed. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, or if you're thinking about hiring us to help you with a marriage-based green card, whether it's a pivot case or not, we'd be happy to help you. You know, we handle tons of green card cases and overseas immigrant cases for spouses. We'd love to help you with yours. Feel free to give us a call, 314-961-8200. email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. You can also join us for free in our Immigrant Home Facebook group. We'd love to have you join us there. There's thousands of immigrants in there every single day talking about the immigration process, all the headaches, all the tribulations, all the sadness, all the joy. You can join us there. And then, of course, we have our YouTube channel, and that's a place where we post videos a couple times a week. And I also go live on our Immigration Answer Show, where I'm answering immigrants' questions left and right for a full hour. Love to have you join us there. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.